Hi everybody, it's Jillian. So yes, I was one of the millions of people watching Biden's presidential address regarding the executive order, something regarding the vaccine mandate for companies that are 100 or more employees to either get fully vaccinated or provide a weekly COVID test that is a negative. And so here's the strategy. I have a strategy for everything. Because remember, forcing functions are things that will force you to finally face your evolution, face what you have been avoiding, so that way you're not in fear of anything or anybody, okay? And so I know my husband is facing this as well. And I said, okay, Jason, you get the vaccine, because he got the Tdap when he scratched his eye. Yes, his arm is sore, but he survived the Tdap. Okay, he hadn't had he had no symptoms really. Okay, so he could survive the Tdap. All right, so he could probably survive the COVID-19 vaccine, but he's deathly afraid of it. So now he's thinking like, okay, fine, then I'll get a test every week. Okay, okay, fine, because he's been out with me and I've been getting the symptoms of evolution, but he has been remaining pretty much status quo. He doesn't get any symptoms. Okay, fine. So here's the thing. For those that don't want to provide a weekly negative COVID test, because it's a crapshoot. Get the vaccine, okay? You know you're going to have to feel symptoms. You can overwrite the programming, okay? The programming is mRNA. And what it does, it provides a programming that says that if the body is in contact with anything COVID algorithm related, it will then activate the immune system to send off antagonist antibodies to go and do a search and destroy. Now, you know that you have a predominant programming. You have a primary antibody programming that will go after anything that is rogue or secondary programming, because you've been around people who've been vectored. You've been around people who are highly communicable and you have no idea what it is that they did or didn't do. And so you have no idea if you've gotten the shedding from someone who was recently vectored. So most likely you already fought off somebody else's programming. Now, the difference is that you're getting it actually injected in your system. Okay, you've been vaccinated before. You've been vectored before ever since your childhood. You survived them. Yes, some of you have issues, but you didn't know how to deal with those issues. You didn't know how to feed the symptoms. Food. You were too busy playing the diet game, too busy playing the turmeric and honey and all that stuff. Well, here's the thing. Now you realize you don't deal with symptoms with turmeric and honey and elderberry syrup and all the different remedies that are in the holistic allopathic world. Now you know what to do with your symptoms. You open up your lines of defense, so you're doing the J juice. Not too much, because you know you have to deal with your evolution. You have to deal with all the predispositions that you already hold inside. But the vaccine is going to be the forcing function to then force you to finally deal with all the latent viruses that you have held at bay with all of your pills, powder supplements, and detoxes. And so then now what you're going to do is you're going to finally face your evolution. So now here's the thing. When you are at a job and you get fully vaccinated, so now you're compliant, you have a passport, you have all these things that you're compliant with, okay? And you get sick. Okay, big deal, you're evolving. So you stay at home. They can't blame you for being sick. Not everybody responds to these vaccines the same. Some people get sick, but you now know what to do when you get sick. You feed food. You eat, you deal with stuff. Maybe let's say in the beginning, if you're first doing the J juice, do a few waterfalls. Okay, fine. But then if you have constipation or you have, stuff that you feel like you have a big old blockage, and you drink a bunch of milk. But you need all the food in the food supply. You feed your body every single defense system that you have so it can arm itself to attack that rogue programming. And your job will probably give you time off to do it because you were compliant. You took the freaking vaccine. You did everything that they want you to do, the government as well as your company. And now you will have a justification to stay at home and heal. That's your strategy in all of this. But now you have to face evolution. You can't play this doing the J juice and trying to be in a cured state of decline. Because you do too much J juice, it's going to work against you as well. So you have to balance that out. No matter what, you're going to have to deal with evolution. Okay? But here's the thing, and so let's say you get over your little sickness or whatever, you can go back to work and all that stuff, and then somebody happens to bring in a variant and you get sick again. Well, you get sick again. Then you'll be home. And that's the thing, is that But then, you go to your doctor, and if they're required to go to your doctor, and they're like, what's wrong? You were vaccinated. You shouldn't be sick. Well, you're one of those. You're one of the small percentage that may have, reactions to some of these vectors. But you're not going to tell them, well, this is just evolution. No, you'll just go home and be like, okay, let me just go home early. They'll let you off early. Go eat a bunch of food, go rest, watch some Netflix. And this is where you can't be in a high-level job because they will expect you to be on your freaking game. Okay? So if you're in a high-level job, then you're going to have to find every way freaking possible to kind of be in a cure state of decline because you can't afford to take time off and evolve, especially if you have 5 accounts that are worth like zillions of dollars. So those of you that are working for a lot of money and you've backed yourself into a corner, a financial corner, well, that's where you're going to have to figure out, is it worth the money to put yourself in a cure state of decline? Or can you, prioritize your life and your family and scale down your lifestyle, scale down your traveling, and actually heal yourself and heal your kids and heal your husband if they're open to it? And this is where the system is going to level the playing field. But those that want to be all like, out and about and making all the money, well, you're going to have to be asymptomatic. But those that are like, okay, I'll be compliant. I know I got to put time into healing. I got to eat the food supply. I got to feel the freaking, the variance of whatever it is. Then you will still be compliant and you'll be given time to go heal at home because you did everything you said you were going to do to the government and to your employer. And you just can't help that you have to deal with whatever infection that goes on. And you know how to deal with infection. You feed it food. Maybe after you get the vaccine, do a few waterfalls. But if you haven't done the J juice and you're facing to get a vaccine, don't use J juice as a way to be such a cure state of decline where you don't feel anything. Remember, there's a balance to all this. We discovered that J juice can be a major curative effect, but it will also deplete you and turn you into beef jerky and the Wicked Witch of the West. Not literally, because I've made comparisons about that. But you don't want to turn into a wrinkled up, depleted, dehydrated, way down the line, old woman or old man. Because that's what also doing J juice on a continuous basis will also do to a person who doesn't understand they have to evolve. They have to eat all the food supply and they can't be in a cured state of decline, indefinitely because the thermodynamics in your environment are going to work against you, especially if you're out in the public all the time. Okay? And so this is going to be a careful balance. Some of you may opt working from home. Maybe you get into, your infections after you got your vaccine will give you license to work from home. Leverage all of your evolution to your benefit. This is all about leverage, you guys, but you have to understand how to play the game. It's all freaking strategy. That's how you have to understand this, but you have to be willing to face your evolution and face the pain and face feeling like shit. Some of you don't want to feel anything because you want to be out and about and be on, all over the place. And in this society, it's very difficult to do that unless you're willing to sacrifice yourself. And that means that, yeah, you can be temporarily in a cured state. Like I see people traveling all the time, but I know they got vectored and they're doing all their, their different supplements and all their different, turmeric and honey and painkillers and all their monsters and Starbucks. And they're aging. They're aging themselves exponentially. And you can see it in their face. You can see it in their hair. Some people get, facials and things to hide the aging process. But they're not doing anything except, what the system has provided them, giving them this type of lifestyle. And so eventually they're going to age out of the system and then they had a great time. Hey, that's the thing with money and all this privilege is people have a great time very temporarily. But, it's like anything. You sell your soul to the devil takes his due. Like, seriously, the devil does take his due. So anyways, there is a strategy to all this. But yes, the forcing function with this vaccine is the fact that now you will finally do the J juice and feel all the evolution and then fight off that programming. The mRNA program is trying to attack your evolution. And you will waterfall it in the toilet, and then you'll finally feel everything you're supposed to feel. And yeah, you might break out in hives. And then you can go to work with the hives and say, okay, well, this is what happened after I took the vaccine. They'll be like, oh my God, stay home. That's the worst of it. You know how to deal with it. You'll know how to deal with it. You're in for all the healing process because you watched me go through it. You watched everybody else in the J Juice group go through it. You saw all the testimonies what people were dealing with. So every single person that knows their predispositions will figure out that they're going to deal with everything that they have suppressed with pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes and or operations. You take your appendix out, you're going to feel pain in your appendix area because most likely down the line, it will grow back and you're going to feel pain. And don't freak out, because if you freak out and you go take a painkiller, then you just completely miss the point of this all. Okay? So I'm telling you, there's a strategy to this, but the thing is you have to face your evolution, face the pain, and understand that you want to go and override and neutralize the mRNA vaccinations. But you'll still get them, but you have a strategy with the salt, with the J juice, with the food supply to not allow those therapeutics to work against you. That's the whole point of the J juice mentality. And so good luck to all of you. Bye.